know, it's a game of adjustments, and you adjust to. They say the game's at 8, you're there at 8. The game's at 5, you're there at 5. You know, you get there, and you better be ready to play. So, how do
Yeah.
your guys get ready to play that early, and what are you noticing about it?
Well, and again, I try to do my best to get my guy up, Trey. I try to get him up early, try to get him moving around, try to get him focused on what he's getting ready to accomplish that day. And I do talk to the kids on his team just about those things. I mean, it's something that is absolutely overlooked, certainly in travel ball, is because these kids don't practice. Their teams don't generally practice a whole lot together. A lot of times, kids are coming from all over the country to play on certain teams. Other teams, they're just there to play, and so the camaraderie that you love to see, in team baseball, that concept has, in a lot of ways, been wiped out. But if you can create it to some extent in travel ball with your guys, you're going to win a lot of games, really. And it does come to that, especially at the 15U level, because much like I just described to you in the game that they played today, it's because these guys know each other. They play well together. They enjoy each other. They do practice together quite a bit, at least as far as the travel ball team is concerned. But they also understand the things that generally win these games. It's not a big league ball game. You're not waiting for the 2 or 3 home runs, and whichever team hits the 2 home runs ends up winning the ball game. That's not going to happen in these games. In these games, it's going to be walks. It's going to be some bunts. It's going to be some execution. It's going to be some timely hitting. But again, I've watched enough of these throughout my years, especially with my 2 older boys, to know at this level and at this age, it really is the fundamentals of the game that generally win these ball games at this level. And the teams who are always standing at the very end are much like the East Coast Sox, who do all those things well. They're not always the best group of hitters, not always. But they always find themselves in these tournaments at the very end because they don't beat themselves on defense. They run the bases pretty aggressively, which you can get away with here at 15U. Because, again, you have a dynamic where you've got pitchers and catchers and all these people coming in from, different places. And the things that you learn at the major league level is that those relationships, and when I mean relationships, I'm not talking friendships here. I'm talking pitchers throwing to the same catcher over and over and over again, knowing how guys work together, knowing how your infielders respond to each other, especially when you're sensing something in a ball game. Hey, this guy's getting too big a lead. We can pick this guy off. Stuff like that. It is fun to watch, and when you see it at 15U, it is pretty unique. But in a lot of ways, it does win these tournaments.